Get off my farm.
All right.
Do you have a farm, Steve?
I do have a farm.
Bro, how many sheep
How many sheep?
on
my
your farm? Yeah.
How many people were in this hospital?
Packed in there at the end?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, probably like 250.
Okay, so I had 250 sheep,
Damn.
all confirmed by Laurie Strode.
Good. You sheep. That's not him.
I just love. I didn't even notice that line where she's just like, "You fucking sheep, it's not him." Which, all right. Before I guess we bring this in, there is one point I want to make before we actually get into this movie. They show Michael's face on the news in the very beginning of the movie, yet they chase this little dude around the freaking hospital.
Yeah, they show both of them.
Yeah.
But everybody's like, oh, so it's one of those two.
Also, they whipped up a mob. And mobs tend to not, like, use their brains about things.
Well, everybody knows love prevails over anger, Michael.
Not in this movie.
Yeah, no.
A lot of people got stabbed that were in love.
Well,
A lot of couples died in this movie.
Big John and Little John.
Right.
R.I.P.
The doctor and the nurse.
Oh
Yeah.
my God! Yeah, this
Ooh.
was the couple murder
A
movie.
lot of couples died in this film.
R.I.P. I also wanted to see them fuck. There's a lot of couple fuckage I did not get to see that I'm very disappointed about.
in the sexless Halloween film.
Oh, it was sexless.
I didn't think
Not
you would
even
be this
one
disappointed.
tit. Not even one tit.
My God, I didn't think you would be this upset.
I'm a little upset.
It's okay. We could put in one of the old ones. There's tits galore in those.
Tits. Anyway.
Wow. Okay. Now that she's done talking,
Any of you know the story of the Haddonfield Boogeyman? A man in a white mask. Or was it more than a man?
Blackest eyes, the devil's eyes.
You know, it's Halloween. I guess everyone's entitled to one good scare.
There's a reason we're supposed to be afraid of this thing. A man in a white mask.
He only knows how to keep moving and to keep killing.
Every night that he would escape,
What the hell do you do that for?
so I can kill him.
Evil dies tonight!
Happy Halloween, Michael.
All right. Well, that's Michael's intro.
is that mine?
Yeah. Well, typically I would say like welcome to every film in the book. Something like that. Try that, Michael. Go on. You can do it.
Yeah. Talk to me like I'm a fucking dog, Steve. I'll respond real well to that.
I'm sorry. I love you.
I don't respond well to that either. So you got to find somewhere in the middle, Steve.
You're an average person.
I'm not average.
You're an above
terrible
average,
person.
terrible person, but awesome.
An above average, terrible person, but awesome.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
All right. Go for it.
Welcome to every film in the book. Halloween Kills.
Halloween Kills.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
Wow, Michael did an
Michael
intro.
did his
I heard-
first intro.
I heard
Ooh.
somewhere if you only use like 6 words, extra good.
Extra
Oh
good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you got the study on that?
No, I don't study anything.
I feel like you're using more than 6 words in each of these sentences, though.
Wow. That really sucks, Steve. Oh, that was only 5. Shit. There
Got
we
you
go.
on your first one.
God damn it.
You want to be good at haikus.
Yes.
Wow.
575.
Wow.
Let's go.
Wow. I wouldn't be good at haikus.
Yeah.
Says the woman that's never read my poetry, obviously.
Hey, we're doing Halloween Kills, not concerned with your poetry right now, Michael. Unless it's a Halloween poem.
Unless you have a poem
You
about
gotta-
Halloween Kills.
Steve, that was just outright mean, and I'm going to Halloween Kills you.
Yeah, you got it.
Which means I'm probably going to use, what are those lights called? The tube lights?
Oh, yeah, tube lights.
No, they're not called tube
They
lights.
literally come in a tube in their lights. Yeah, it's tube
No.
lights.
like fluorescent lights?
Yeah.
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 Neon?
No.
Fluorescent.
Those are in the tube, though, so you get half credit for that, Steve.
Oh, I thought you meant like I get what you're saying
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Okay, cool.
Holy shit.
So we're doing Halloween.
Halloween
Doing
Kills.
Halloween Kills. You are currently listening to our episode 3 of our Halloween special. Ooh.
And it's the second Halloween movie.
Second Halloween movie.
We're 75% done with Halloween.
We're almost done, which is a sad thing. I love watching these movies. They're so much fun.
Yeah, they're really cool. How like they integrate back into the original ones with all their little themes and stuff and the music, and there's just certain elements that bring it back to the original from the 70s. So it's cool how they keep doing that, and then they take their own modern spin on things. This one was, a little different from 2018, and I'm
Yeah.
sure we all have opinions on how they changed it up a little.
Well, yeah. Let me ask, like, watching this again after so long, like, what did you think about it this time? Now that the kind of like, oh shit, a new Michael Myers movie goggles are kind of off. Like,
Me?
Yeah, I don't know. Or Michael, I don't care. There's two of
Watching
you.
it again?
Yeah.
I mean,
Does it still hold up like where you thought it was? or-
it holds up pretty well, but not all the way.
Okay.
There's definitely some things watching it 3, 4, 5 times where you're like, all right, well, this was a bit on the nose, or this, that, and the other thing.
Right.
But it at least takes 4 or 5 watches to get there. Like some movies, the second time you watch it, you're like, oh, here's all the things wrong with it. This one I
Yeah.
feel like took a few more
right before I
playthroughs
really
before you
started
started to nitpick.
Right,
Just
right.
because it is so good.
Well, yeah, and the one we just did was
Yeah.
so freaking good.
And
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of hard to follow that up, I think.
not a lot of movies start bang, bang, bang.
Right,
like that, and I think they cut it in a great spot just to start the next movie.
Right.
But it doesn't take you out of it, and they kind of ease you into the intensity of the end of the last film.
Yeah.
Like they start off with some cool stuff,
Mhm.
and then they mellow out for a bit, get you reset up of where we are, and then throw you back into it.
Right. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
What
You
about
know.
you?
Yeah, I definitely think they went a little different with this one, where they weren't really focusing on our main characters too much. They were focusing more on the city, the townsfolk, if
Yeah.
you will.
This was
And,
Haddonfield's movie, I think.
Oh yeah, like it was a little weird because there wasn't really like one central storyline we were following.
Yeah, we've never really gotten the branching plot lines in Halloween before.
Right.
It's always just kind of been like, hey, follow Michael as he kills
Right.
the main cast
Yeah,
of characters.
and we were still following Michael, which was nice, and that was like the one thing that kept the movie
Oh
centered.
yeah, like he definitely, I think, got the most screen time in this one.
And
Yeah.
I don't think it ever got too scattered.
No.
Like at the beginning, they have some like dates,
right,
which definitely help. So they're like, all right, well, this might confuse some people going, switching to and from and having some new footage with the old footage. So
right,
this could confuse people. Here's a way to not be confused and just ease you right into it.
right.
And I like how they kind of suspend the main character's story a little bit in the beginning, where they don't touch on it right away. They make you wait, and they introduce some new characters that you haven't seen, and you're like, but what just happened with
Yeah.
everything that was going on? Like, I need to know.
Like all throughout this beginning, I guess we might as well get into it. But like all throughout the beginning, I'm like, I don't give a shit about that. Where's Lori? Like,
Yeah,
we
right.
left her stabbed in a truck at the end of the last one.
She
I'm like,
got
where the hell
stabbed.
is she?
And it is kind of good that they made you wait a little bit, because
Right.
even though you're learning about this new film that came out, it's like you still have something to wait for.
Right.
But you are. I feel like they could have made the start of that really boring.
Yeah.
But they made it interesting enough that it held your attention until they got to the thing you wanted walking into the building to see,
Right.
to see the film.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, because it opens with basically picking up from Cameron's story, who was Allison's boyfriend in the last one who'd like cheated on her and he threw her phone in the fucking pudding.
Yeah, what a bitch.
Yeah, no one likes him.
He's still walking around as Bonnie, and he's trying to call his friends, and nobody's picking up because, you know, they're all dead.
Most of them are dead, yes.
Yep.
But he ends up stumbling upon Sheriff Hawkins, and where Zartane left him off in the last movie. You know, he starts calling for help, and then we immediately get to a flashback. And it kind of like picks us back up from that original Halloween night, and this kind of almost rewrites the original second Halloween. Like instead of doing a whole movie of it, they just show you how Michael gets captured, and then they kind of move on.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
like I honestly thought this was
I
almost
didn't
better.
mind that
Yeah,
because it was like you have to show us something,
right.
and also it's a Halloween film, so if you want to do something different, just kind of be that blatant about it and be like,
Right.
this is how it happened. We'll be like, all right, cool.
But
Yeah.
it's
Carry
so
on.
cool the way they do this flashback because, you know, all the cops are dressed like the original movie. You know, even Michael Myers, his whole outfit looks like almost like an exact replica of what he was wearing in that first one.
And they put this filter over the camera that makes it look like it was an old film.
Super grainy and everything. But yeah, so we you know see Michael after I guess he escapes from Dr. Loomis. He's walking down some streets. Sheriff Hawkins, as a younger guy, ends up seeing him, taking a couple shots, trying to stop him.
Not very accurate with that revolver.
And
with the revolver, you need to be accurate.
yeah, do they train these guys like how to
They do, but
hit a slow moving target?
also they're hunting down Michael Myers.
Pure evil.
A little extra nerves is, warranted at this point.
deflected the bullets. It won't allow him to get hit.
He's got his evil shield up. It can't be penetrated,
Everybody knows evil can't be shot.
but it must die tonight.
It will die tonight.
Which I must say
That
about,
hasn't started yet.
about the evil dies tonight. It took a bit to get to that in the
Right.
film.
Oh,
But once they got to that,
it was
they
nonstop.
said it over and
1,000
over and
times.
over. And I don't even give a shit. I thought it was funny. I thought it was every time they did it. They're
Yeah.
just like, all right, sweet, cool.
Michael's
it's got to
just
die
like,
tonight.
How's it going?
I've seen it. I've seen it before. I know how it ends.
Yeah.
Evil's fine tonight.
Evil lives tonight.
Evil is
Evil's doing
mildly
great.
inconvenienced
Right.
tonight.
It's Tuesday for evil.
But yeah, so in the flashback, they get Michael, or they follow Michael back to his house, and we see some interactions with some older characters like Lonnie the bully, and he turns out to be getting bullied, so the vicious cycle of bullying
Oh, the
continues.
bully cycle in the horror film. No way.
Hey, Lonnie,
No way.
I heard you peed your pants in science class, Lonnie.
You better sleep with one eye open, Lonnie.
The other one I'm gonna poke out. Whatever one you leave open, I'm poking it. Fuck
They're
you,
so mean to
Lonnie.
Lonnie.
See, I don't know how to bully because I was never a bully. Tells you something about these two. My
Yeah?
goodness, just straight into the bullying.
Hey, we
Yeah,
were
like
just
we
quoting
were
the movie.
bullied.
Just quoting the movie.
Listen, we
All right,
turned
that's
into
not bad.
music
That's not
students.
bad.
Of course, we were bullied.
Of
I'll accept
course
it
we
this
were.
time.
But yeah, so they follow Michael Myers to his house, and they're searching all over. They see the dead dog from the original, like still laying in the that Michael was like snacking on.
It wasn't like nothing was identical, but it was well done enough that you were like, all right, this is okay.
He's
Yeah.
like, hey, free
This is
meat.
all right. Cool.
But yeah, so they go upstairs and they're creeping around, and like kind of like in how the last one they were obsessed with trying to get Michael to say something. Like everybody's talking about him saying something. I think that was kind of replaced with talking about this window. Now, like all of a sudden, they're putting a lot of
Right.
emphasis on his sister's window.
In which direction he was looking
Yeah.
out
Yeah.
said window.
But yeah,
Right.
My
like the
goodness.
one cop in this flashback is saying like, "Hey, did you know Michael used to stare out his window? I wonder what he's looking at." And it's like the other cop's just like, "Dude, I was telling you I was having problems with my wife. What are you talking about?"
Right? It's completely interrupting thought.
It's
Like,
just
no.
like, hey, anyway.
What do you think?
Also, who doesn't look out their window from time to time?
Right.
Like,
But yeah, they're like
And then
obsessed.
commit unspeakable acts of
yeah,
violence.
everybody does that.
What happened? I looked out my window too long.
Listen, that's just a normal Tuesday. It's fine.
I looked out my window. Urge to kill rising.
That birds sang a beautiful song. Made me want to kill.
It must die.
The bird must die.
It must die.
Say something.
Oh my god. But yeah, so this cop ends up standing by this window, and like I don't understand why you would do that, because you're gonna get killed, and it's our like first jump scare sort of the movie, and Michael comes flying out of this doorway.
Oh yeah, and I said that this was a good intentional jump scare where they're not scaring you for nothing. They scare you, but then continue with the scene, so you feel the like fright from the jump scare, and it continues with, "Oh my God, he's murdering somebody!"
Oh no, he's choke slamming a dude into a closet door.
Oh,
Yeah.
And the thing I was impressed with is he was just kind of, battering,
Yeah,
giving him a good shake up against the wall, and then cop gets like two good
two
swings
solid
in.
like rib jabs.
So
in there.
Michael Myers just pulls back and slams his head into the
Whoa.
fucking wall twice. He's like, "You get two, I get two." Bang, bang, and they're clearly better strikes.
Oh yeah, because this cop
Clearly.
is dazed. He's
out of it.
He's lucky
He's
he
out
didn't
of it.
like pass out on his feet.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so Michael's got him by his tie, because cops wore ties back then.
Yeah.
He's choking him
Very,
out with his
very
own tie.
tactical. I'm wearing a tie. Definitely can't choke me with it.
It's like, it's a clip-on. I know, it's easier to choke you now.
Right? I can take it off and then choke you with it.
Unclip, choke.
Yeah, he's carrying his own garrote. He's just getting choked out. But yeah, and then our officer Hawkins comes running up, and he's like, "I'll save you," and takes a shot at him and nails his partner right in the neck.
In the neck.
Like,
Jeez.
I mean,
well, this is the first time the movie gets like slow, and they
Yes.
slow it down for you, and the music builds, and then the same thing happens several times throughout the rest of the film, and they just get more intense as the film goes
Yes.
on. So like the start wasn't too over the top with all the extras, but they definitely did some good things, and then they just compounded on that the rest of the film. Each time these private engagements between Michael and a victim happened.
yes.
And they really like to show you the aftermath of the stabbing or whatever method
yeah.
of death.
This one definitely lingered more than most Halloween films.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
they
yeah.
show you the leakage.
a lot of people
A
end
lot
up
of
leaking.
They left the faucet on in this movie.
Yeah.
They really did.
Yeah.
But like, so Michael escapes, or he's like walking down the stairs, and we get like our Loomis impersonator. They
Right.
actually did a good job.
Not bad.
Mhm.
Not bad.
It wasn't CGI, it wasn't anything like that. They got a guy who looked sort of similar to
And then
Donald
you
Pleasance.
do him up and put a
Yeah.
little makeup and
And like
Wrinkle
he could
here,
even
wrinkle
kind of
there.
like do the voice a little bit. Like it kind
Yeah.
of it made you be like, oh man, I miss Crazy
well,
Loomis.
the way Loomis walked. So like if you can nail that,
Yeah,
that's how you like unconsciously recognize people is how they walk.
right.
Mhm.
So when you like he walked pretty good, so it's like all right, that passes. Like you just accepted it immediately.
Yeah.
It's just funny because he comes running into the house and he's like, "Officer Hawkins,
Yeah.
what happened?
He's just
Did
hollering.
Michael kill again? What
Immediate-
happened?"
Immediately hollering.
And Hawkins like,
outrageous.
It's
I
just-
definitely didn't shoot a guy.
He's just standing at the top of the stairs, dumbfounded, as this old man is like, "What happened? Tell me. I need to know." Exactly, an opening title.
Yes.
Halloween Kills.
Oh, but also Michael was standing there like he was in the 70 whatever movie, 76 movie.
78.
78 movie, where instead of him being a small child in a clown costume, he was in his full Michael costume, just staring off into the distance while cops were pointing guns at him, but nobody was moving.
Yeah, Haddonfield has about 47 cops, and all of them were there.
Yep.
They have a lot of cops.
They were like,
Small town where nothing happens. Largest police force in the state.
it's like, "Hey, Ted, you going to the Michael Myers arrest?" "Nah, bro, I got too much stuff on my plate." It's like, "Oh, man, you're missing out." They actually have 48 cops.
Oh, wow.
Ted missed out.
Two have to do all the paperwork.
Yeah, two of them. Well, at least two of them, right? You gotta have some office guys.
Oh, but yeah, right after this, I kind of expected them to go back to Laurie and her daughter and granddaughter. I thought they were all gonna, thought we were gonna pick up with them, but it does not. 'Cause then we go see Tommy make a speech at a talent show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the like party at the bar.
They have
Yeah.
to introduce all the survivors and townsfolk
Right.
that will be the main townsfolk of this movie.
And I didn't mind how they did it either, by introducing everybody in the same room.
Right, and
And
kind of
they-
like bringing us up to speed with
and-
like who these people are.
Well, and it was not really a believable way, because I've been in bars before and
Right.
normally don't do stuff like that. But it still was like, okay, it's a movie.
yeah,
Like, oh, they're all there, and they run. The couples that interact the rest of the film run into each other there, so it like meets some people that you're gonna see the rest of the film.
right.
But it also, there's kind of a lighthearted feel about it until he starts telling the story.
Yeah. But we basically get reintroduced to Tommy Doyle, who was the original babysat kid that
Babysat.
Laurie Strode was watching on Halloween.
Who apparently whistles like birds.
Whistles
well.
like a freaking hummingbird.
What a nerd.
But instead tonight, I'm gonna tell you a story.
Yeah. And he basically recaps the entire original movie. He says there was 3 babysitters. They were being stalked by this ghostly presence, and he was the shape, and he was this, and he was that, and I was bullied, and I dropped my pumpkin, and then
And murder and tits and
tits, and then he takes a spotlight, and he's just like, this was Lindsay Wallace. Her babysitter was executed that night. This is
Sucks to suck.
Nurse Marion. She survived like an assault from Michael Myers. And this is Lonnie, and he was my bully / he kind of bumped into Michael on the street this one day, and it kind of rubbed him the wrong way.
Here's all the people that matter.
Yeah.
Everyone else is gonna die, and most of the people I just listed are gonna die
Are
too.
also gonna die. But yeah, it's basically just catching anybody up to speed who may not have seen the original, kind of telling you who these characters are, what their involvement was, and why they're suddenly important.
Even watching all the films, it was nice for a little recap.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
you know,
Little recap.
I don't mind it if they're well done. This one I felt like was done all right.
Yeah,
Not
it
bad.
wasn't bad.
And it's a good way of matching faces with, oh, that was the little kid
Right.
in that one. Okay.
Yeah, because they did actually bring back a lot of these original actors, like the.
Oh, really? They were
yeah.
original actors?
Yeah, Lindsay Wallace was the original girl, and the nurse was the original girl.
Yeah, they're all they're all the same people.
Wow.
It was kind of nice.
Well, the main ones at least.
Yeah. But yeah, so after we kind of get acclimated to our new set of victims, then we finally get back to our main character, Laurie Strode, who is unfortunately
Bleeding out.
Leaking in a pickup.
She is bleeding like a freaking waterfall. It is insane.
Like bleeding like a waterfall.
Yeah.
She's gushing.
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 She's gushing.
But yeah, so they're still in the back of this truck from the last movie. They're driving away from Laurie's compound, and they see all these fire trucks coming up.
Well,
Ooh.
they give you like 7 seconds to like, oh shit, this is what we were waiting
Yeah,
for.
yeah.
But no more than that, and then
The fire trucks
Yeah,
go.
because we go from
right
this,
to
like,
100
quiet,
real fast.
we go from that quiet Tommy Doyle monologue, where he's just like, "Evil's coming for us, all of us, and I'm special for some reason, because I'm gonna pick up a baseball bat."
There's a special bat.
Yeah, and it's like super quiet, and then we just cut to this chaotic, like, you hear like sirens in the background, you hear the engine gunning from this truck, and they're all screaming in the back of this thing. Like, it definitely jars you, and you're like, oh shit, okay, cool, we're back into the Halloween movie.
And I think they did that on purpose to be like, hey, we know this is what you're waiting for.
Yeah, it's like,
Oh,
hey,
yeah.
Hey, here we are.
it's like, we know you watched the trailer.
And even though it's
Yep.
not the start of the movie, it's like, that's the start of the movie.
Yeah.
Especially if
Yeah.
you've seen all the rest, you're like, oh, all right, here we go. Now
Here
for the
we
fun
go.
part.
Yeah.
Now for the fun part.
And of course, Laurie's fucking screaming, "Let him burn!"
Yeah, she's like yelling at these fire trucks like they could possibly hear her over the sirens.
Right.
Right?
And she's just like, "Let it burn!
Joke's on her. It didn't have to burn. He was getting out anyways.
Oh
Ooh.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, this almost gets to the point of that like one take from the 2018 one.
Oh yeah.
But
This is definitely another solid sequence for sure.
And on a different level, where this
Yeah.
is just
to reintroduce
Ooh,
Michael
murder.
back into this movie, this is the perfect way to do it. But we cut to these firefighters, going through Laurie's house trying to put out the fire. I don't know why they're inside trying to put out the fire.
Well-
I think that's a lost cause at this
No,
point.
you see, Steve, if a house is on fire and has been on fire that long, like, houses don't just fall down in 10 minutes on fire. Like, it takes a little bit. So if you can get in there and put most of it out, you might be able to save the house.
Yeah, but couldn't they just do that from the outside?
Also, they're looking for people in the house to make sure there's no one in there.
But Laurie
yeah,
lives alone.
firefighters do their job, Steve, and you're not a firefighter,
Yeah.
so don't
Yeah.
ask questions.
Yeah, right, whatever.
They're out there doing it every day, Steve.
Yeah,
Well,
they're
these guys,
fucking
they're
heroes.
actors.
Well, they don't get to do
Well.
it the next day, but
No.
they
They do it at
attempted.
least for one day.
On this night, they attempted.
Yeah, so the one guy that's going in falls through the floor.
Yeah, good old Billy Joe.
Yeah, and he ends up in the basement where Michael was trapped. And the first thing he does is put on his alarm, saying like, "Hey, I'm
He
down
calls for
here."
Mayday.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Michael comes out of the shed closet
It's,
that
it's
where
a
all the
closet
guns
with
are in.
with a roll-up garage door on
Yeah.
it.
So he was basically like shielding himself from the fire in this little closet.
Yeah.
Right?
Freaking
Of course
genius.
he freaking finds a way to get out.
Yeah.
He's so dumb. But he
Yeah,
comes
he's
out of it.
Pretty smart. thought it was pretty smart. Yeah, hide in the non-burning closet.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it would burn eventually, and now you're
No,
stuck
well, that's
in a fucking
well. He
closet.
didn't have any flames, but that's like his mask was still melted.
Yeah.
So it still got really hot in there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So he was
But-
definitely cooking a bit.
I just love it when he comes out and the freaking firefighter's just like, "Whoa!" He's like, "Guys, there's a man down here," and he just beats him in the face with this
Oh.
like crowbar.
And this is your first. You know, how I said they slowed it down earlier and
Mhm.
really made it. This is the second iteration of that, and while it's probably the best sequence of Michael murderings
Yes.
in the film, they still take it to other levels, but just not on the same scale
right
from
right.
this. And they definitely get the lengthened pauses and the music and the flames and the alarm that you can continuously hear in the background.
Mhm.
Keep that intensity, this whole sequence at an all-time high.
Oh yeah, no, like this. I remember seeing this in the on like HBO when we first watched it, and being like, "Holy shit! All right, cool. I'm amped up. Let's
it's
go."
super cool. It's
Oh.
super cool.
There's so many good kills in this first sequence. They're the best of the whole movie.
Yeah,
Really.
I honestly feel the most bad for this guy who he gets next. He's got his hand down the hole and he's like, "Come on, Johnny, grab my hand. I'll help you out." And he probably like to get Michael Myers out of that hole. He definitely picked Michael Myers up, like got him about halfway up, and then realized it was Michael Myers. He probably got stabbed, and then Michael climbed the rest of the way up.
Yeah.
It's funny you could see Michael in his face mask
Yeah,
Mhm.
reflection and stuff, and they did that a few times throughout the film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
with the reflection of him, which ties back into the thing.
Yeah,
that
the freaking window.
the motif of the
Mhm.
film.
What
was,
is he
you know,
looking at?
Evil dies tonight, and he's looking out his window.
Woo.
It's just like
it's for some reason really sets off murdering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looking out windows is very bad.
He's up there and he's like, "I saw a blue jay. I'm gonna go kill a babysitter tonight."
Right?
It made me weep tears of joy. I'm gonna go murder 12
I must even
children.
it out with sadness and anger.
It's like,
Oh.
I saw the bird.
But
It was pretty.
Yeah.
I think for this scene though, they said, what's the easiest way to film Michael Myers killing 7 people? Put them all in the front yard.
Yep.
Mhm.
And then he just proceeds to one by one mash them.
Dude, him
Mhm.
just
In the front
walking
yard.
out
Yeah.
of this house that is on fire.
Yeah, still on fire, which they had to rebuild the whole house and set it on fire for this movie.
And it was all wet, so like there's water
Yeah.
dripping
Oh my
in front of
God.
him from the hoses.
Yeah, and he just comes
the-
like slow-mo out of there. He looks like the friggin' Terminator.
Right? It was pretty cool. It was pretty cool.
kill all the firefighters.
But he doesn't say anything, which makes it way more badass.
Yeah.
Oh man, I wish Michael Myers had like one-liners.
No.
No, no.
The
There you
best
go,
thing
ruining
about
films again,
Michael
Steve.
is that he doesn't say
The
anything.
best thing
I
is
want
he
him to
doesn't
be an
talk
80s
ever.
action movie star. I
No.
want him. One
But
of
yeah,
these days.
I mean, just the one by one, the being stabbed and picked up in the air, the
Oh,
The camera
one-
angles.
yeah.
Yeah, and the one jackass who decides to spray Michael Myers with water. Like,
Oh yeah.
he's just got the hose spraying on him. Like, what is
It was
that
a
gonna
weak
freaking
hose.
do?
That's all he's got, man.
The dude just came out of a burning building unscathed. You think your little hose is gonna do anything?
Well, you still got to do something,
It'll
though.
make him slippery, maybe.
They're tough guys. They're firemen. They got to do something. Use what you got.
You know, for being tough guys, though, I will say
They all
do
died like
fall into the
non-tough
trope
guys.
of attacking one at a time when there's
They-
multiple of them.
Oh,
Yeah.
one at a time is tactically superior, Steve.
Well, we find out later 11 people die in this scene.
Mhm.
So like 11 people could have just jumped on him.
Well, I mean, they do later on,
Yeah.
and it still doesn't work.
Yeah.
He still
everybody
comes up
does.
cutting people.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But yeah, when he turns that big buzzsaw around on the dude,
Starts chewing,
Oh
chewing
my
from the chin
God.
down.
And that's such a
Ooh.
cool, like, they don't cut away, and you're like, how did they do that? Because
Yeah.
it really looks like there's an actual person standing there holding this thing, and then he just turns it on him, and you're like, how is that not actually in his face right now?
now's a
I don't know how
bad
they
time to
did
tell
it.
you they actually killed that
Did
guy.
they kill that guy? Oh,
killed that
Yeah.
guy.
Wow, that guy gave his life
Yeah, a
for this
lot of
movie.
people
Props
died.
to that guy. He did it well.
Wow.
Great movie, dude.
They took the title literally and killed 700 extras.
Jeez.
A lot of things took multiple takes.
Oh, God.
But that's our first, like, not necessarily shock value, but at the end of that, I've seen it several times, and still I'm just like, oh, that was cool.
It's
Like,
the
that
best
was
scene
so
of the
cool.
movie.
Yeah,
It's so great.
Hands down, probably the best scene.
And they give you time to look at the mask. That's a little different, because one thing that's happened throughout the whole series of Halloween is there's been small changes to the mask.
Right.
Now, not like drastic changes.
No, but it's
But-
definitely gotten weathered and kind of like torn up. And
Right.
Like raggedy.
Yeah.
And then even in the 10 films they're skipping, there was
Yeah.
still little changes because everybody can't make it identical.
Right, right. But yeah, no, they did a cool job with like the whole burned effect on the whole side of his face. Like we're looking at it now, and it's
Oh, yeah.
it's
on,
creepy.
on HBO.
Yeah. But yeah, so after he murders a lot of firefighters, you know, we're cutting back to the hospital, and Laurie Strode is, you know, getting checked in. You know, we're kind of dealing with the after effects of her family and what they went through in the last movie. They still think Michael is dead at this point, and they're finally kind of dealing with her.
The loss of the father.
Yeah, they finally bring up the dead.
Yeah, for a whole 2 minutes.
Yeah, 2 seconds.
They have to grieve him for 2 minutes and then they move on.
Yeah.
Wasn't that what we said about the last film? So they're like, oh,
Yeah,
nobody,
they didn't
nobody,
really
Nobody
care.
talks about the dead.
Nobody acknowledged the fact that like her dad died, and
Yeah.
her wife died.
Even
Like,
in this
ah.
one,
Like,
like,
I literally think it's a quick, like, 2-second dialogue thing in that last one.
Yeah.
Mm.
Like, she comes
It's
down
not
the
much at
stairs
all.
and she's like, "Where's whatever his name is, Greg or something?
Where's Greg?
Where is he?" And Laurie just goes, "Karen, I'm sorry, baby. Michael's here." And then sends her down in the basement. That's the
Yeah.
only mention we get of that.
It was kind of messed up. He
Yeah.
just kind of walked out into the front yard.
He got
you can't
murdered.
be in the front yard
Yeah, no.
with Michael Myers.
You can't.
You're getting murdered.
But yeah, his wife, what's her name?
Karen?
Karen. Karen, how could I forget? Karen has one moment where she's sobbing in a room, and then she comes out in the next moment and is like, "He'll be with us forever."
It's all
and
okay.
then she was like cool after that.
Well, see, it's kind of cool. Just remember that he'll be with us forever
Yeah.
moment, because it comes up later.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did we all just watch the movie
Yeah,
together?
we all just watched the movie.
Wow, that's crazy. So we all know what you're talking about.
You have no idea what I'm
Oh,
talking
cool.
about. It's going to be a surprise at the later in the movie.
Yeah, so we're finally moving on with
Yes,
Karen and
more kills after this boring shit with Karen. Fuck you, Karen. You should have dealt with your husband's death in the last movie. But we go to what we hear is Laurie Strode's like neighbors-ish kind of. They're kind of in the neighborhood. But they're it's these two older couples, or like an older couple. And I'm pretty sure the older lady is in the 2018 one, but I forget where she kind of like comes
I'm
in
not
at.
sure.
But
And they're doing something that you wouldn't expect,
yeah, old
which-
people to be doing.
which is pretty cool for this film because a lot of the people are really unique in this film. Like the bartender who's we've been introduced to, like he talked in a certain way, and he was an individual for sure. And then this couple is not what you'd expect for when you say small town or whatever.
Right.
And so these guys are just goofing around flying what looks like a decently expensive drone.
Yeah.
And a lot of the other people we meet that are quote unquote throwaway characters are really unique in some way. Like there was
Yeah.
actually quite a bit of thought put into, well, who are the people on the way to the objectives for Michael?
yeah, they have to
Right.
give you enough personality to make you feel bad that they
to make
died.
to make you give a
Exactly.
shit. And I feel like this movie does that a little better than quite a few other Halloween
Yeah,
films,
definitely,
Mhm.
definitely.
which was, I mean, by a good bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they're flying a drone in their house, and the lady's having fun. She's like piloting this thing pretty well.
She
And-
does a couple flips with it too. Like she's half decent with it.
Yeah.
She does like a backflip with it.
And then I guess her husband comes down, and he's like, "Oh man, your sleep mask sucks. Like it smells like Lucky Strikes." And she's like, "No, that's Laurie Strode's house burning like down the way. It looks like they may have gotten the fire out. So we know there's been some time because this fire has died down. So
Right.
Michael's probably walked a little bit to get to this house."
And she's goofing around, not staring out the window.
Exactly. But she's flying this drone into like this back room, and it kind of hits something and falls to the floor. And as soon as you see it hit something, Michael's in that.
Oh, we
freaking closet.
know,
Yeah.
but they don't.
They don't.
They do not.
Makes for good cinema.
But it's so funny. I love when the husband's just like, "Oh, you suck at flying that thing.
Give
Here,
her
let me
here, give
try
her
it."
here.
So
Meh.
he literally grabs the controller, and the drone comes like as if somebody threw it.
Clearly, as if somebody threw it.
Yeah.
Like, it's like he's, what
Just
does he
ru-
say? He's just like, "What the fuck was
What
that?"
the fuck?
It's
And
just so-
of course, they gotta go investigate. So like the wife grabs like a bottle of wine. She's like, "All right, I'm ready. I'm ready to tussle."
and he just walks kind of close.
Yeah,
He just gets kind of close.
just kind of close. Flips on the light in this room, and Michael immediately punches the light
Bashes
out.
it.
And he starts screaming.
Oh,
He's like, "Oh fuck!"
Closes the door, locks it up.
She's like, "What is it?" And he's like, "There's this big fucker in the bathroom. Like, call
Big
911." And she's like, "Well, what does he want?" And he's like, "It doesn't fucking matter. Just get the hell out." But he makes the fatal mistake of walking by a window when Michael Myers is around.
You can't
Oh, yeah,
walk by
because-
windows.
He clearly got out.
Clearly.
Went to the window, put arm through said window, bash victim's skull against window frame, which is, it's been done
Rinse and repeat.
so much.
Uh-huh.
But it
but
always works.
It always works, and
see,
you're
he-
never expecting it because, like, the windows don't take much time to run past.
Yeah, no.
And then just an arm comes out and he just starts beating the shit out of him.
See, I always feel like you could get out of that so easy though if you just like duck down.
Well,
Like
please remember, he folded someone's face in,
he did.
so he's
he
probably got
did.
a strong grip.
He's got good
and
grip
heavy
strength.
bashing.
He does
strength.
those grip strength exercising
He's
got that.
things.
But he freaking pulls this guy onto like a shard of glass that comes like jutting
Yeah,
through
bends
his
him
neck.
over backwards through the window.
Yeah, I like how they have these like 2 or 3 step murders where he does one thing and he's like, that wasn't quite enough. Let me just do a little extra.
He's like, "Hold on, let me start by dazing the victim, just so this doesn't hurt as much." So he starts bashing him against the wall. And he's like, "All right, you know what? This glass is pretty useful." And he puts it through him, And he's like, all right, he'll survive just long enough for me to go get this other guy over here. But he ends up coming into the house, and the old lady's trying to escape, which she instantly stops doing once she actually sees Michael Myers.
Yeah, she could have got out that door.
I feel like she could have gotten out of the door.
Yeah, she could have made it.
But
But she just kind of watched that happen to, her dude, so
Yeah, she was freaking out.
she was freaking out a little bit.
And then she gets stabbed in the neck with a fluorescent light bulb.
Well, he sees she has a weapon in her hand.
Yeah, like she
So he gets
freaking
one
grabs
too.
a knife. Why? Why just leave?
Well, because he needs one to take with him.
Well, no. Like she grabs the knife.
Yeah, he needs one to take with him.
Yeah,
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, you got to pick up the weapon from somebody
Because she's
else.
just going to sit in a chair.
Yeah. But yeah, like
wait for her.
He literally just stares at her for a second. She's like pinned up against the door and she's screaming and she grabs the knife. He just calmly walks over and he's like, "Oh, these are nice fluorescent light bulbs. I like these. What are these, like 40 watt?" And pulls one out.
Smashes it in half.
Yeah,
Yeah.
breaks it in half. And just slowly walks over and is like, "Oh, wow, this is good craftsmanship. Hold on, how would it hold up in a neck?" And he just fucking stabs her right in the neck with it.
Yep.
Oh, my God.
Gives it a little twist.
Little twist.
Little twist.
But yeah, and there's our next victims of the evening.
Yeah.
But it's not done yet. Because he bends
No,
this
no.
dude over a table.
Throws him on the table.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "You know what? There's a lot of cutlery in here."
Well, granted, they had one of those magnet strips with like 8 knives on it.
Yeah.
So he was just like, "Okay, I can't let this go to waste."
Yeah.
And just stabs the guy with every
Every
knife they have in that
Every
kitchen.
single knife.
Until the last one he picks up and he's
And
like,
he
you know
like-
what? This one feels good. I'm
this
going to
one's
take
good.
this with
It's got
me.
a good hand feel, not too heavy. All right, cool. I'm on my way.
Yeah, it's kind of cool how they give Michael personality in that way where they let him be a little creative.
Yeah,
with
he's
these
almost
kills.
he's so mechanical when he's doing this. Like he's not moving his feet. Like he's literally just leaning to one side, grabbing the knife, turning around, stabbing. Like
Mhm.
and then just keep repeating. Like
Yeah,
it's
they make-
really creepy the way they do it.
They
Yeah.
do that really well, and then on the other hand, the way he piles some of these kills or presents some of these kills
Right.
to the town is pretty creative, like wearing a pumpkin head, and then Big John and Little John are like holding each other in death, and
Right.
he does quite a bit more of that, where in some of the the earlier films it was a grave desecration or the
Right.
dead dog, where they showed both of that kind of stuff
Mhm.
and then took it to the next level.
Right. But yeah, so after the old couple murders, we're back at the hospital. We're kind of figuring out more with Lori and how she's recovering, and then we're also back at the bar, and the patrons at the bar are now getting the news report that, oh shit, the last movie happened. There's a bunch of dead people. Everybody,
They watched the last movie.
yeah, they got brought up up to speed.
Yeah.
And we're finding out the victims of the last one. We get that little kid back whose
Yep.
babysitter was killed.
Yep.
He's still my favorite.
Ah, shit.
Oh shit.
I know you're down there smoking weed.
I know what fairy dust means. But and then so Tommy Doyle's just like, "Oh, well, it's got to be Michael. Like there's no way 4 people died in an evening and it wasn't Michael Myers." But they kind of flash up for a second, the 2 convicts that escaped last movie, and one of them is just like a weird looking dude, and the other one is clearly Michael Myers because they kind of zoom the camera out so he's not in focus.
Yeah, his face was. It didn't look blurred, but it was always blurry.
Yeah. You never got like a direct look.
Because
Only
this is the most he's had his mask off in any Halloween
Oh,
film
yeah.
ever.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and-
I feel like in the next movie they're gonna have to show his full face.
Oh,
They
dude, yes.
they're kind of baiting the shit out of that
Yeah.
with what
Mhm.
they did in this one, and then even the last one, where putting the mask on, like we got to see a lot more of his personality,
Right.
and a lot more of the personal stuff with putting the mask on and getting ready to go back to Haddonfield, and this one did the same thing, and then added a little more to it. So the next one has to. It's begging for it.
Oh yeah, but this basically leads into like kind of setting up the town and how they're going to interact with this movie. But one of our couples, hears this report, they get scared, and they're just like, "You know what, fuck it, we're out of here." So they go to their car, and it gives us like that foggy car flashback from one of the babysitters that was murdered in the original. Like she gets into her car, tries to get her started. Somebody's in the back seat, gets out. They think it's Michael Myers, and now the whole bar is kind of like up in arms, and they're like, all right, we're going to go kill Michael Myers.
And we don't know that it's not Michael Myers.
We just see, a dark figure kind of peek up from behind the seats, and then we don't really get to see who's driving this car.
No, but when the car starts, I feel like you're like, all right, it's not him.
Yeah, well,
Like,
when
he
they're
doesn't-
picking music on the radio, I'm
Right.
like, I don't think Michael Myers cares.
Yeah, the shot from inside of the car is like, all right, well, he's not messing
but
with
I
the
mean,
radio.
it does kind of take you back to the one from the 70s where,
Yeah.
he was driving a car. Like, that was the whole movie.
Yeah.
He was driving
literally
a car.
drove it back and forth.
Yeah. So actually, it was funny because I had that thought where it was like, oh, actually, I don't think it's Michael because he crashed the car immediately. Like, Michael actually could drive around a little bit. Like,
Oh, yeah, he's a competent driver.
yeah. Whereas this other guy who wasn't Michael in this car crashed it
Yeah.
right away.
But, so after, this whole debacle with the bar people, this is where our favorite characters get introduced. It's the Johns.
Oh, Big and Little John.
Big and Little John.
Big John, Little John.
Little John is dancing. Or no, Big
Big
John.
John is dancing in the beginning.
Big John
Smoking
is
a joint.
dancing, smoking a joint. He's living his best life. I
Mhm.
love it. This is such a great way to introduce him.
Yeah, so they're a couple that are living in the ex Myers house.
Yeah, like basically this whole scene is just to set up that there are people living in the Myers house.
Yeah, and they turned it into some like bougie place where they have record players and charcuterie boards.
Looks like a couple of guys just have taste.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. yeah.
they got good taste.
Yeah. Oh yeah, everything looks great in there. But yeah, so like they get like a trick or treat prank pulled on them, and they basically come out and
Which
say,
was a wild
Oh,
trick or treat.
so
Oh,
stupid.
yeah.
It was wild.
Yeah.
It involved a razor blade and fake vomit,
Ah,
and it was
these-
a little over the top.
These kids
Little
went
bit.
a little too far just to get candy from
Mhm.
their house.
But they got the whole bowl, Steve.
But yeah, so after that, they explain is, hey, do you know who lived here? It's Michael Myers. Whatever.
Yeah,
Blah, blah,
yeah.
blah. Stay away from my
Scare
house.
them off.
But yeah, and then we're back at the hospital, and our main characters, Allison and Karen, they're getting interviewed and kind of asking like what happened at Laurie's compound, like what went on in this last movie, and this is also where they find out that Michael Myers isn't dead. So they instantly freak out. They're like, oh shit, what do we do? Like, Allison gets the idea she's gonna go after Michael Myers, and Karen's like, no, go stay with your grandma. Like, Michael is gonna come here and try and kill her, like, because she doesn't know about Dr. Zartane or anything that went down in that one.
No.
I get why she thinks that way.
And she definitely doesn't get the rule that teenagers always listen in horror films. They always listen. They're
You
just very
stay
good
here.
listeners. The horror film ones especially.
Right.
yeah.
But yeah, and then while all this is happening, Tommy decides he's going to go round up a posse, and the entire town of Haddonfield is now hunting Michael Myers.
Mm-hmm.
He just pulls up to a gas station, and there's some kid standing there. He's like, hey, you want to go kill somebody tonight?
Have you ever shot a gun? Would you like to?
You ever felt the rush of a murder?
Oh my god.
Follow me, Tommy Doyle.
Have you ever watched someone's soul leave their body? Well, tonight you will.
Nah, I absorbed them.
Oh my god. But all right, so let's see. This is so after Tommy Doyle's like starting to get his crowd running together, Allison decides like, no, screw this, I'm out. I'm gonna go help. So she wraps up the knife that she ended up stabbing Michael with in the last one, and tucks it under Laurie Strode's pillow, and she's like, here, Grandma. This is here for whenever you need it.
Great place to keep it, right by the bed.
Yeah, especially in a hospital where they're
Mhm.
checked on constantly. They're not gonna let her
Yeah.
keep that knife.
She's gonna stab herself by accident.
Yeah, but she runs outside and joins her, I guess ex-boyfriend. But they do hug, so I guess they're back together.
Yeah, they made up, I guess.
But she's outside with her ex-boyfriend Lonnie and Tommy and all them, and she's picking out her gun for the evening. And of course, she picks the shotgun because she's smart.
Mhm.
It's got a good spread.
Got a good spread.
It's got a great spread.
Packs a big punch.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. But yeah, so everybody's out on the prowl now, and our first group of Lindsay, the nurse, and this couple are the first ones to kind of like discover some action.
And they definitely don't take too long with the hunting.
They do not.
They don't at all. And you're
Just in
so
white
grateful
person
for
fashion.
it because you're just like, oh my word, they're going to go hunt him. And then immediately you have action where it's not like 4 or 5 minutes of walking around trying to look for him. It's like the next scene is them pulling up to what turns into a nasty situation.
Oh yeah, because they're like these kids are sitting at a playground, and Lindsay walks up to them and she's like, you got to go home, like there's people dying, you can't be here. And they're like, we're waiting for our friend. Also, there's this creepy guy in like a white mask, and he's like playing
hide and go seek with us.
Yeah.
He's being real
Stupid
weird
little
about
kids.
it.
Yeah, freaking idiots.
As they continue to swing and just act like total imbeciles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just, Lindsay keeps freaking out. She's like, no, seriously, you gotta go. And she's just like, where did you see this man? And they're like, whatever. He just pops up from behind trees. Oh, look, he's right behind your car back there.
There he is.
Hi.
Yeah. And he's freaking holding the decapitated head of one of their friends, and they're still kind of like, whatever, buddy. Happy Halloween.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh,
And I do like how when he pops up behind the vehicle and he starts his assault on the vehicle,
Yeah.
he takes a second to get into the rear view mirror,
mm-hmm.
and then it's like 1001, 1002. Okay, you got it. Here we go. And then climbs onto the vehicle. I thought that was a nice touch where
I just want to make eye contact, make sure you
Just-
know I'm here.
just a little bit, to instill the fear, and then what was a terrible way to defend yourself.
Oh
I mean,
my God.
they tried, they tried, but they stayed in
They locked
in the
themselves
car.
in the
They
car.
locked themselves in a car. That's
Which-
not where you want to be.
I mean, I don't know where else you would go if he's on the
No,
roof.
I
Like,
mean,
he could
if-
get to you no matter where you
That's
get out.
Yeah, but
True.
if you scramble,
It's like a
two
numbers
of the
game.
three of you will survive.
Some of you will get away for a bit,
Yeah.
depending on the runtime of the film.
You just need to
You'll get
outrun
away
your
for-
friends. That's all you need to do.
You'll get
Whoever
away.
you trip first, that's
Yeah.
who loses.
Yeah. You don't have to outrun the bear, just your fattest friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they definitely do their best, but they stay in the car. And I'm not going to be. Cars have seats. Seats are chairs. If Michael Myers is trying to kill me, I'm not going to be sitting in a chair.
No.
But
I will be standing.
they at least, try to fight him off a little bit. She blasts that head that he
Oh,
smashes.
yeah.
The first smash into the window is the decapitated head, and he smashes it into the windshield, and she
dead.
she hammers it and
Oh,
sends
yeah.
it flying out of frame, and then it just goes downhill from there.
Oh,
So
yeah.
she hit
Yeah.
her first shot, which is necessary, and then it just all goes to pot.
Well, see, they
And-
made it a good point to show that she had like a revolver, so she's only got like 6 shots in there.
Yep.
And
So
she
she-
just starts blasting.
Oh yeah. Well, like she makes a point to roll up the window because like she's been through an attack where Michael's been on the roof of a car before and
Right.
he goes in through the window. So she
Oh, roll it up.
Yeah, she makes a point to roll up the window, but then immediately shoots out all of the windows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They need to be up, but they all need to be not there.
Yeah, yeah.
I love the sound of breaking glass. So hold on, here I go.
Yeah,
And
but so, he's attacking them from on top, so he's smashing his hand through, and
Yeah.
he's grabbing them out of the car, so they're
Yeah.
kind of just sitting ducks.
And the one girl actually gets out, like the girl dressed as a nurse.
Yeah, she climbs out the broken
Yeah.
window.
She gets out, but then when the other two try and get out, that's when Michael jumps down and he's like, okay, well, 2 for the price of 1. You're both fucked now.
Right?
Mhm.
So he climbs in, and what's her name? Marion was the original nurse.
Mm.
She was like, hey, Michael, this one's for Dr. Loomis. And then goes to shoot him, but of course she's out of bullets because she
Click.
blew out all the windows.
Click.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he
So
stabs her.
She
dies.
stabs her.
She
Yep.
dies.
Yeah.
Dead.
Yep.
Dead instantly.
And the nurse dressed as the doctor is in the
No,
back.
the doctor dressed as the nurse. She's a doctor.
Dressed as a nurse.
Dressed as
And
a
he's
yeah.
the nurse who's dressed as a doctor.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what
Switching
I said.
what he
generals.
That's exactly what I said. Anyway. Anyway. He's in the back seat, and he's just kind of frozen.
Well,
And-
he
and
does try to defend.
He does a little bit,
Not
but
much.
it's way too late. And I feel like a lot of horror films do this, where like the person goes to help, but it's already after the kills happen.
Yeah.
Like we knew she was too far gone, and then he wraps his stethoscope, and you can't kill Michael Myers with a stethoscope. So.
And it was like a toy. Anyway,
Yeah,
like
so
it
And he
wasn't
also
even-
got him at like the side of the neck. Like
Yeah.
he wasn't
Yeah.
like up
So
under
he-
the chin.
Michael Myers just turns and looks at him,
It's like, what are you doing?
and it's like, what the heck's going on here?
Like-
I'm sticking your forehead to the ceiling of the car with this knife,
Stabs him
And
through the eye
whack.
socket.
Oh my God.
and sticks him to the top of the car.
It's gross.
It's
so
it's
gross.
it's fantastic.
like right under the eye, up through the head. Oh,
Mhm.
and he just
uh,
he falls back and does some of those death noises you were talking about earlier.
Yeah,
Oh,
like all the
oh,
places he's choosing to stab are very just like.
they're ow.
Ugh.
I never thought about getting stabbed in the armpit, but now I'm painfully
Yeah.
aware of it. Ugh.
All right, so that was the whole car scene.
Well, what about the nurse who shoots herself
Nah,
in the head?
yeah.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
gets the I don't know if does she shoot more than 6 bullets with
Well,
a revolver.
She's got, like,
She's got a
some
few.
She's
fucking,
got a
like,
bunch.
Desert Eagle looking thing.
Yeah, she's got a large caliber handgun
Yeah.
and shoots a whole clip. And the last bullet, Michael kicks the door, which hits the gun, and she blows her own eyeball out.
Yeah, I don't know how that happens.
I mean, she got it the easiest.
Now
though.
mistakes happen, and that caliber just needs to hit something on your head,
So,
and
like-
it's gonna
And
leave
that's it.
permanent damage.
I guess like the gun spun around in her hand, like she didn't have her hand there, so it spun around and her thumb caught the trigger and got her.
Okay,
Yep.
sure.
It's the only logical explanation I can think of. But yeah, that's and then like Lindsay, who's watching all this from the playground, has been filling like a trick or treat bag full of bricks, and of course, after all the killing's done, then she's like, all right, I'm coming in to help.
Yeah, a little
Yep.
late help again.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Hits Michael a couple times with the brick. He like chokes her. She tries
Immediately chokes her.
to. Yeah. He ain't taking a brick to the face without some retaliation.
Mm.
Yeah, and he normally takes damage first,
Yeah. Yeah.
like except for the random people that, he breaks into their home.
Yeah.
They get stuck first, but everybody he wants to kill, he lets them,
well, he's sporting.
get a few licks in.
Yeah. But yeah, so he's choking her. She tries to pull his mask off, which of course distracts him. He's got to put the mask back on. So she finally gets away, and she actually escapes this encounter, surprisingly.
Yeah.
And
But,
survives for a good bit yet too.
Yeah. But so Lori is now waking up in the hospital. She's kind of coming to. And let's see. Her and Frank finally get reunited after the last movie. I still don't understand how he's alive.
Yeah,
Like-
he got stabbed pretty good in the neck.
Well, they had
and
they
ran
had the,
over by a car.
yeah,
Yeah.
but they had the patch over the neck hole.
yeah, so
Oh.
he's good.
He had the neck hole patch.
But what about
He
the
had
car
the,
running over you?
Well, he's
He
just
got
got broken legs.
He got signed on for the sequel, so he had to survive.
They didn't show him walking at all after he got hit by that car.
Yeah.
His legs were busted.
Yeah.
We also don't care that much.
Yeah, no. But like
I didn't mind the scene between the two of them in the hospital beds, though.
yeah,
like,
it's
it
kind
gave,
of a nice like love thing.
Yeah, well, and you've been conditioned now. I mean, not the first movie per se, but the last movie was, you're kind of conditioned for her being a hard ass.
Yeah.
It kind of softens her character up just a little bit.
Right, right. But then after all that, like we just keep cutting back and forth between like Tommy and his group and Laurie in the hospital. So now we're back, of course, with Tommy. He's discovering the scene that we just watched, and he's got the couple like posed with like Halloween masks on. They're all bloodied and messed up. He's got like Michael's got the nurse hanging from a freaking swing set. And then they eventually find Lindsay, and she kind of tells him what happened. Like, oh, yeah, he murdered everyone. He's still out there. Like, I don't know how I got away. So they bring her back to the hospital, and Laurie and everybody kind of find out that Michael's still alive. And Tommy finds out that Laurie is in this hospital. So he's like, oh, fuck, I got to go see my babysitter again. He's like, oh, I missed you so much. It's been since 78. Let's go. But so he runs into her room and is basically like, hey, he's still alive. I got you. You defended me. I'll defend you. And, you know, he goes running back down into the lobby, and he riles up the whole crowd, and he's like, listen, you know, Michael Myers is around. He's already killed a bunch of people tonight. We got to get him out of here. Like, evil dies tonight.
Evil dies tonight.
Evil will probably be okay.
He'll probably
He'll-
be.
And within 30 minutes, they've said that phrase probably 18 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is interesting that, you know, normally the movie's about the town or Michael Myers or Laurie Strode, you know, victim attacker, and this was just one of the random guys on the bus that, you know, Michael escaped from.
Yeah,
And
'cause,
he's getting quite a bit of attention in the film, and it kind of feels weird, but at the same time you don't really mind it because you're like, oh no, like, and you kind of feel bad for this guy, and then again you get snapped right back to, okay, well, he's out there. This isn't the guy everybody finds out.
right.
He's out there somewhere, and everybody's just wasted like an hour going after the wrong guy, and they end up making him kill himself. So it's like kind of a weird thing that
Mhm.
happens in this film, and that's my
Yeah.
only, like, it wasn't necessary for this
Yeah.
whole little string on the storyline to be in there.
Yeah, I feel like the only point they were trying to make is that people were going crazy and they were going to do anything to try to stop it. And they, you know, had that pack mentality where they weren't thinking clearly and they went a little
And
crazy.
for 2018, like when this came out, like it's a little bit of social commentary
Right.
as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
But
But-
because it's kind of like, oh yeah, anybody can be riled up if enough fear is like spread, and like,
Mhm.
But
especially with Tommy Doyle screaming at everybody like,
know-
oh, he's gotta die.
Even though it does, I don't know if it takes you out of the film a little bit, but it to me it kind of provides some humanity to the film, just like that scene between Laurie and Officer Hawkins.
Right.
Like it just adds a little bit of that, which I don't think a lot of the other films took time to do,
Mhm.
and this film tried it, and I don't think it was the best. But we'll
Yeah.
probably still have a little bit of that in the next film too.
Yeah, they'll probably bring back that romance, but
I hope not too much because stabbing,
yeah, no, more killing, please.
right?
But
Speaking of,
yeah, so after
He-
this whole thing in the hospital goes down, and this other inmate ends up, you know, jumping off a cliff and all, or not a cliff, but the windowsill. We're back to the Johns in the Myers house, and they get an unexpected visitor at their back door, who's
Yes.
then immediately at their front door.
And then immediately at their back door.
and Little John did not lock the back door.
How do you not lock the door?
So definitely not a child in our house came in the house,
yeah, there's
Mhm.
a bloody handprint on the wall.
and it was not a child's hand.
it was a
is
large
not-
hand.
That
A
is
large
huge
handprint.
hand. It only had 3 fingers too.
Little John's pretty observant.
Yeah.
And then this is when they both pick up the knives.
Yeah,
then.
I don't know if this is supposed to be like a dick joke.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah, probably.
It's
Yeah.
like Big John is the little guy, and he picks up the little knife, and Little John's got a huge knife.
But he's the little guy.
Yeah,
He's probably
yeah.
they probably got huge dicks. What are you talking about?
I
Both
think
of
They
them
both
got
have huge dicks.
horse cocks.
Both of them
Both of them.
Mm.
swinging past your knees.
Maybe not like unrealistic, but like
Well, you just said
Decent.
horse cock. I was just trying to paint an image.
yeah, but still to the scale of human. Gee whiz.
But yeah, so they hear, you know, Michael clipping around upstairs, and you know they're going to investigate, and
Which I have to interject.
mm,
When they go on separate floors, they play Marco Polo
Yeah.
with their names, but it fits them so much that it's amusing, but doesn't take any of the gravity of the situation out.
Yeah.
Which I think that's pretty hard to do.
Well, I think trying to sneak around your house, you probably shouldn't be calling out each other's names.
No, but it definitely fit the two of them and their personality.
Yeah, that's true.
And they were relying on each other, and then it was clear when a certain John was not doing okay.
Yeah, he gets stabbed in the armpit.
Mm.
Poor Big John.
And
Yeah.
Danielle said, like, while we were watching the film, you're like, there's some big
Oh, yeah.
arteries in the armpit
Mm.
Yeah,
area.
you're gonna
like,
leak. I feel
that
like they
one's-
didn't have
eesh.
enough blood for the
They didn't.
scar that they showed.
which
Um,
for the rest of the kills in the film that
Yeah.
you see for a while,
The
there's
rest
an
of 'em were
excess
great.
of blood.
Yeah, but
Oh,
the
yeah.
This
armpit
one-
one did not have
Nope.
enough blood.
Yeah, and then our little John ends up coming to his rescue, sees the dead body on the floor. Michael's staring out the window. And this is another instance of people just stopping and letting Michael kill them.
But it's great
Yeah.
because Michael's come home.
Yeah. It's like,
You've come
Michael.
home,
And then, of course, he gets killed off screen. So we don't even get to see what happens to him.
which is they did it poetically.
Yeah.
Like they gave it a little nuance to it, they put a little thought into it.
Yeah. So we then cut to Allison, Cameron, and Lonnie. They're still out on patrol, and they figure out that if you follow the trail of bodies, he's going back to the Myers house. So that's where we're going.
It's a straight line back to his,
'Cause of-
childhood home.
Yeah, because again, they keep bringing up maybe he wasn't staring out at anything. He was staring in at himself.
That's so dumb.
Fucking window.
It's
Yeah.
so dumb.
It's so dumb.
It's still not too bad, but it's one of those things where you're just like, man.
Yeah, no, there's several
man.
points this movie where they say cheesy shit like that, and I'm like,
Yeah.
just let him murder.
But
he just wants to murder. That's all he wants.
Yeah.
If all the other stuff wasn't at the level it is in this film, those would be seriously hurting the film.
Yeah.
But since they did so good in the stuff we wanted to see,
It was like, whatever.
you're definitely forgiving what I would say is more than usual.
Mhm.
For a film that you like.
Yeah. But Lonnie and them get to the house, and they're all ready to go inside. Lonnie's like, nah, fuck that. You're kids. You're staying in the car. Like, I need you to do this for me. So he goes in there for about 2 seconds, and he's instantly killed.
Yeah.
Of course, off screen. We get a single gunshot, and then Allison and Cameron are like,
All right,
dude,
let's
we're
go."
going in.
And they do follow up with all of their off-screen kills, though.
Mhm.
They do eventually show them.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is kind of nice because they follow up with him, and he was like stuffed in the attic
Yeah,
door with like
Yeah.
half his face sticking out. He was crumpled a bit. He
So-
got squished.
So do you think he like tried to go up into the attic and Michael just like closed the door on him on his way down, or like
I
did
think
he
it
just
was
hide him up there?
he was stashed up there.
Well, there wasn't a whole lot of blood on the walls. Who knows? Not getting into too much detail. Either one is completely
because
plausible because he was creative with some, but that one he's like, I want the rest of them to come in too. Let me
Yeah.
hide him and stuff him up in the attic.
Well, it's almost like they said he knew, like, because he's like, I'm totally going to go hide in the closet. Like, I always hide in the closet. So they're, like, searching around downstairs. He makes just enough noise to lure them upstairs.
Right.
And then, Cameron is walking off on his own like an idiot, even though their whole plan was stick together. So he goes walking off on his own, and he's getting, like, blood dripped on his hand, which instantly takes him out of, like, oh, shit, I'm in a murderer's house right now.
Right.
And, sees his dad upstairs, or, like, hanging from this attic door.
The attic access.
And then Michael just comes bursting out of the closet in front of him. And, like, nobody has any, like, reaction time in this.
No, you
It just
you
goes
get
and
pressed.
goes and goes.
You get pressed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really
No,
just builds the whole time.
Is this the second kill sequence in his childhood home in this film, or is this the third one?
If you count the flashbacks, I guess it's the third one.
I think it's with the flashback. This is the third one.
Yeah.
And you don't really notice.
Yeah.
Like they're all done uniquely where I didn't think about that until after the movie was over.
yeah, they're
You know
shot
what? I
from
think
different places, different.
They did
rooms
such a
and-
unique job at each one that it didn't feel repetitive.
Right.
And they all were. I mean, they all were dope.
Yeah.
They all were great scenes.
Dude, but Cameron gets it the worst here. Like
He
takes,
gets beat up.
Yeah, he takes 2 to the stomach. Allison tries to save him, but she can't get the shotgun off in time.
She also just got pushed down the steps before he started to get his face smashed in, and so she couldn't really do much because her leg or her ankle was hurt.
Well, like when she first comes out, like she tries to get him with the gun, and he just like pulls it away.
Yeah,
and then
swats
she
it
like
aside.
stabs him a couple times.
She gets him
Oh,
3
yeah.
times.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, this is before the face smash.
Yeah,
smash.
And
And
then
then-
it's his turn
Yeah.
and sends her down the stairs. And she
He's
kind of
"Oh,
looks
you're
like
out of
above the
commission?"
knee
Yeah.
leg break too. Not a clean one. It looked like it hurt a bit.
Yeah. But yeah, now that she's out of commission, he can finish up with Cameron, who he proceeds to put through the railing of this
Yeah,
staircase.
he
definitely
smashes his face into it until it breaks,
Yeah.
and then he can stab his neck into the broken parts.
and then
Ugh.
pick it up and
Do it
smash it
again.
against the
Oh, yeah.
railing,
Ugh.
and then smash it against the floor, and then smash against the railing.
Yeah,
He
no,
does it
he's
like
just
3 or 4 times.
bouncing
Yeah.
this guy between different stabbing points.
While she's, up and yelling at him like,
Yeah. Stop.
"Ah,
Don't kill him.
fuck
Like,
you,
leave
stop
my
it.
boyfriend
No.
alone.
Leave him alone."
Michael, you're so mean.
And
leave
he-
him alone.
He of course obliges.
Yeah.
And walks down the stairs, and you're like, "Oh, this is gonna be great." And he pauses,
yeah.
with about chest level with her boyfriend's head,
Uh-huh.
and just 360s it.
Oh. Well,
As she's yelling
180
at him.
probably, like, all the way around.
Okay,
This fucking
so
pops.
some
Yeah.
some amount of degrees clearly broken, and then
Oh,
it
yeah.
flops back or whatever, and then he continues walking down the stairs at her,
Yeah.
and she's still screaming. So they at least continued what they were doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he comes at her with the knife, and, it's like coming towards her chest, and she's just like, do it. And it's like, well, that's what he's trying to do, and you're like holding him back. Like,
Well,
what-
he is. He's currently
he's
doing
trying.
it.
Well, it's funny because he kind of gives like that head tilt, like, well, nobody's
What?
ever told me to do it before.
I don't need to be
Mhm.
told. Have you
I
not
just
seen the
do.
other 12 films?
I mean, I was gonna do it, but now I kind of don't want to. This feels like too easy.
And that's when her mom comes in and saves the day and stabs Michael in the back with
With a-
a rake.
Yeah, with a freaking pitchfork, like right in the
Pitchfork.
back. Right
Which
in the back.
Big John makes reference to when he takes a golf club outside to scare the kids away,
Yeah.
potentially.
It was a
He's like, I'm coming back with a
decoration.
pitchfork. Next time I'm coming with a pitchfork.
Mm.
Yeah.
And then her
Well, at
mom
least they
comes
got
with a
some use.
pitchfork. Yeah.
But yeah, so she stabs him, gets him down, and like curb stomps him against these stairs. Like, I would have just kept stabbing with the pitchfork. Like, just keep going until I
Well,
got
I mean,
an arm off.
I mean, curb
I would've
stomp's pretty.
stepped
oof.
on the pitchfork.
But
Yeah.
he was dazed enough to get his mask off, and she used that to lure Michael Myers away from her daughter,
Right.
and then places it directly in a great, shall we say, potential mob beating spot. I think she baits a trap,
Yeah,
perhaps.
she like runs off with it, and she's like, "Come get it!"
Come get it.
I hope a bunch of car lights don't turn on at this
Well,
point.
they cut right to it on the ground,
Yeah.
and him picking it up, and then, whoa, the headlights. Whoa, behind him, more headlights.
Yeah.
An angry mob approaches.
The whole freaking town is there. They got bats, they got wood, they got guns, they got
Hockey
irons,
sticks.
hockey sticks. This
And
town is
they-
ready
Yeah,
to
you
go.
said the one lady was in the back with with an iron.
Yeah, she freaking got an iron.
the
Anything
one
you
the
can
one
get.
short guy, he was pretty short, and he had a hockey stick.
Yeah,
And it's like, well, they're helping. They're trying to contribute at least.
they're ready
And
to rumble.
This is the one moment where they show that you can actually hurt him a little. He gets beat up. They take turns, and they get a few good swings in on him.
Yeah, they shoot him a couple times. They're beating him.
Yeah.
And I noticed something during this sequence. He doesn't mind the blunt force trauma,
Yeah,
but anything quote unquote lethal, like all the guns he was able to swat out of his path. And
Right.
and then of course some were unavoidable, but instead of taking like 28 bullets, he only took 4
Right.
type thing. So it was kind of cool. Like he'd get hit with something, get spun around, get hit with something else, get spun around. Someone would have a gun, and he'd like slice their arm with a knife or something like
Yeah,
that.
it's like
And
he knew.
Yeah.
Goodbye, gun.
So he's like, well,
No
that
more
won't kill
gun.
me. That won't kill me. That won't kill me. Get that out of the way. Get that out of the way. That won't
Right.
kill me.
Take a 2x4 to the face. All right, that won't
That
kill me.
won't. That's
Yeah.
not bad. But they do eventually subdue him, and
Yeah.
he gets like.
Karen
you know.
gets the final like hit, quote unquote, and stabs
Well,
him in the
after
back of the
Tommy
neck.
said,
Yeah.
what does he say? You don't have to be here.
Yeah,
You don't have to be. And she picks
Go
up a
home and
knife
be
and
with
just
your
stabs him right below the neck. And you're
Yeah.
like, well, she had to be here.
But like all while this is going on, Laurie Strode is giving that it's a little over the top for like kind of describing what Michael is, but like it's a really good monologue from her.
Mm.
She's like, he can't be killed with brute force. Like every time he kills, like he transcends and he becomes less and less of a person. He's just
Mhm.
an entity at this point.
And through this whole monologue that she has, it goes from Michael being beat to him coming out of this and attacking everybody else
Oh my god.
after just being shot and stabbed And he's just like, you know what? I'm going to kill some bitches. Here we go.
My turn.
Yep.
And he puts the hammer down for a little bit.
Oh yeah, he kills everybody. Like I can't wait for this next one because I want to see what the body count is
Yeah.
in this scene alone. Like I hope they kind of like show more of an outside angle to it. 'Cause we
37 bodies found in the middle of
Right
the
in the
street.
middle of the road with headlights illuminating everything.
Local children are scared shitless. Tune in at 6 for more.
Local children were most of the 37 found in the road.
jeez.
Oh my god! But no, seriously, I really want to see like if they do this from an outside angle because like a lot of the kills we get are like these weird like close-ups and like they're very like backlit and it looks like very cinematic, but like
There was a lot of
super
silhouetting.
strange. Yeah,
There was a ton
Yeah,
of silhouetting.
Totally
in this film.
different feel than the rest of the kills in this whole movie.
yeah. It almost
sure.
like for Michael's last kind of massacre, it kind of like undersold it for me, just like a little.
Although
bit.
I will say I don't think this is his last massacre because there's one more movie.
Well, yeah, but like if this is his last like big fucking kill spree in this one, like it was a weird way to show it. Like it was still creative, but like I just want to see him go stab.
Just wanna
Well,
see
I mean,
this
we did for like 15 times earlier
Yeah.
in the movie.
Yeah, there was
And
a
then
lot of
they-
stabbing.
Yeah, but they did different things with everything. They did different
Yeah.
things with the dialogue, the way they shot it. So
no, I'm not saying it's a bad
you
thing.
know,
It's
they
just a
took
weird
a-
way to show it.
I wouldn't even think
That's
it's
all.
like a risk at this point. It's like
Yeah, no, I mean
you can't lose money on
Yeah.
a Halloween film.
they already got contracted for 2 more of these things after that first one came out,
Yeah.
so they're fine.
But also, that wasn't the last stabbing.
No, it
Because
wasn't.
Michael
No, no.
stabbed one more person before this movie was over.
And we were all
Shocked.
well. I mean,
Yeah.
while we
I was a
were
little shocked.
we may have been shocked the first time viewing this film.
Right.
Yeah.
All the subsequent views, we were kind of like,
A little disappointed, maybe?
no, I was okay with her getting stabbed.
Really? Really?
I was okay
Okay.
with it. I was like,
Yeah,
she kind
so-
of like went from like denying everything to 100% believing it, knowing how to close the trap, to stay here with your grandmother.
Yeah,
blah blah blah.
so-
I'm helping the mental health patient. So she just got all over the place. So when she got killed, I was like, whatever.
Well, Karen has this moment where she goes into the Myers house after all the police are there. It seems like everything's done, and you assume they caught Michael. Maybe, I don't know. They kind of left that whatever. But there's a bunch of cops around the Myers house, so you don't think that he could possibly be inside. And so she goes up and she goes into the window where Michael always stood and looked out the window. Don't know why she went up there.
Exactly.
But regardless, Michael comes up behind her and starts a stabbing. And it was it wasn't super graphic like the other ones.
Yeah, it kind of almost recreates the original kill.
Oh, yeah.
from the
Yeah.
first one
For sure. It's not identical, but it definitely has the same style.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, and like while she's getting stabbed, we're cutting to Lori back in the hospital, and we're cutting back to Michael stabbing, and back to Lori, and back to Michael.
You can definitely tell the movie's ending.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and then yeah, that's
That's the
Liter-
end of the
Halloween
movie.
literally
kills.
how it ended.
Yeah.
But I mean, I did like how the last shot was in his bedroom window looking out like so many have done before.
Yeah.
And so that was pretty cool. Like, you know, you get to see him one last time. But Steve, what's one thing you're looking forward to in the next one?
What's one thing I'm looking forward to?
Yeah.
I want to see Lori and Michael just get each other to the point of like they're both crawling on the floor towards each other.
See, because
Yeah.
For a
she
stabbing.
says in the film,
Yeah.
you know, he can take mine as long as I take his head, or whatever she says.
Right.
Like, you know, you have to let me
'Cause there's,
go.
like,
I'm gonna
there's-
sacrifice. So I feel like that is like gonna be an anchor point for some of her
Yeah.
actions.
And
which
there's no
will-
freaking way she's survived. Like, as much as I don't want to see her die, she's definitely has to die.
Well, no, I
Yeah.
don't think anyone should survive this
Yeah, no.
whole franchise. That's not the point of the franchise.
Yeah, if
It's
they're
like,
finally
he
gonna
gets what
kill
he comes
Michael,
after.
they all need to die.
And I'm also excited to see what they do with Allison, because in this movie she didn't have a whole lot going on, and I'm
Right.
curious from the first movie where they had her gripping the knife in her hand, Like, is she gonna get some more stabbing in?
Right. Well, they
She got
definitely
him a
gave
couple
her.
times. She got a little moment, but I wanted more from her.
They definitely showed some of her grandmother in her.
Yeah.
A good bit. So I'm not sure if they just leave that open as like, all right, well, the next one, maybe she's super like her grandma or like a mix of both,
Mhm.
like cautious but not obsessive type thing.
Mm.
And then who knows whether, because I'm worried about like, I don't think they're going to start it like they did between the
Yeah.
the second and third one. So, the first and second one, but I don't think they're going to start it bang bang like they did these past two.
Mm.
I think there might be some time that has passed.
Yeah, so from what I've read, I think they said it takes place
You were
like
reading stuff?
2 years after Halloween Kills.
Mm.
Okay, so 2 years. So she's like probably like done with high school or whatever.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, they do
So
make
we'll
a
see.
little moment to say, like, whether he's here tomorrow or next Halloween, we'll see. Like, I don't know
yeah,
what they say.
they kind of give, I don't know, a couple key points with, where he is and just the iconicness of him in his window, and you're gonna see him again. It kind
Yeah.
of leaves a bunch of stuff open
I
because we all
honestly
want to
hope
see the
that's-
movie.
Yeah,
You know what
I
I
hope
mean?
that's like the opening shot is just him standing in that window, and then like kind of
They go. You want him to go right into it.
It would be kind of
from-
cool. Well, like let it be in the future, but he's still in that window.
Well, it's still technically night, isn't it? When the film ends, and it's
Yeah,
still
still
nighttime.
night, yeah.
So like Evil Dies Tonight. Well, technically the night isn't over.
The night
So
might
they
not
could
be
squeeze
over.
it in. I can see that.
yeah, if they
could
wanted
kill
to.
I wouldn't mind that.
10-minute movie, just
But I
pop it out real
I
quick.
feel like the people that make decisions on this would be like, let's not do it 3 movies in a row.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, well, I mean, it's only 2 technically, but
Mm.
it spans the 3 movies. But I'm also hoping that they continue to keep the camera work the way the camera work's been.
I'm
and
sure.
then on this one, I think they did a really good job of some spacing between the kills, but there was
Right.
also sprees, but there wasn't really a time which happens in a lot of Halloween films where there's too much dialogue. Like at the start, there was still some action. In the middle, explaining everything, there was still some action. In the end, setting up the next movie, there was still a bunch of action throughout. I think it was all spaced really well, and I hope they keep doing stuff like that in the future.
Oh yeah, it was a great movie.
But yeah, so I guess tune in next week when we actually give you Halloween Ends.
And I'm so excited because we have all not seen this movie. It's the only one of all of these that we haven't seen a million
Yeah,
times.
we're literally
so
going to the theater to watch it and then coming right back to record an episode for you. It's going to be fun.
can't wait.
I'm excited.
Ooh.
Halloween's about to end,
Are you excited, Michael?
I'm excited. I am excited.
Cool.
But yeah, so tune in literally next week.
Literally next week.
On Halloween is when Halloween Ends episode will come out for us.
Whoop whoop.
Hell yeah. We'll see you all then. And as always, thanks for listening. Bye.
Goodbye. Ooh. Halloween. Say bye, Michael.
No.
Ooh.
Any of you know the story of the Haddonfield Boogeyman? A man in a white mask. Or was it more than a man?
The blackest eyes, the devil's eyes.
It's Halloween. Guess everyone's entitled to one good scare.
There's a reason we're supposed to be afraid of this thing. A man in a white mask.
He only knows how to keep moving and to keep killing.
Every